Hi, Peter. Let's take a look at your new set of essays. We've got a letter to your friend. Let's see what you wrote. Dear Adam, I am writing this letter to explain my decision to leave my former job. I felt that I needed a change and I wanted to be challenged professionally. In my new role, I meet with clients on a regular basis. For me, this is a new experience and I enjoy it very much. Also, I'm responsible for evaluating our new marketing strategy. Oh, wait, marketing with a T. All right, we're going to talk about this. Let me just finish it the whole way through and then we'll discuss. Unfortunately, my dog Lolo passed away in February. I miss her, and although she cannot, usually people write cannot as a one word. I am thinking about getting a new puppy as soon as I can get leave from work. I recently took up running and I'm thinking about signing up for a half marathon during the summer, probably in the early summer since it tends to be cooler than in August. I hope you're doing well, and then I hear from you soon. Sincerely yours, Peter. Okay, let's see. Okay, so there's really a lot to talk about here. The first thing is that your grammar was good. There wasn't anything really problematic in any way. I would say that it was accurate throughout. The only problem is really here this sentence. This is um, a fragment. Yeah, we do actually talk like this, but for the purposes of IELTS, I would not suggest this because this is not like correct English. So there's no subject, okay? You could have put like a comma here and then said probably in early summer, and then it would have been fine. Sorry about that. So that was one thing. A little bit of grammar because I said that your grammar was accurate. Now let's talk about the rest of it. The first thing is that it's under 150 words. When IELTS examiners count your words, this is what is counted. The Dear Adam and the Sincerely Yours Peter are not counted. So it's under 150 words. It's 145. Okay. Which I could tell even without reading it, it was just underdeveloped. There was not enough here. So it's not going to get a high score for task achievement, okay? Because it's not really developed. We're going to talk about that. Then, other thing I want to talk to you about is your format. It felt like a formal letter, okay? So you started here, I am writing this letter to explain my decision. That's not how we write our friends. This is how we write our manager. This is how we write maybe a former professor, something like that. But certainly not your friend. Okay. So there was absolutely nothing friendly about this. Your tone was really rather impersonal. And so those for me were big problems. I would say in a nutshell, it was task achievement. Okay. Because the tone was wrong and it wasn't developed. So let's talk about what you could have done here. This whole thing about I'm writing this letter to whatever is what we do in formal letters, not in informal letters. In informal letters, we do something friendly. So, dear Adam, how are you, my friend? It's been so long since I've talked to you. Or, dear Adam, I'm so sorry that I haven't written you back. I have so many new things to tell you about, so many updates. My life has really been crazy lately. Okay, this is how we talk to our friends. And that's how we write our friends as well. Okay. So then after you do something like that, you could say, the biggest change that I'm excited to tell you about is that I have changed jobs. I felt that I needed a change and wanted to be challenged professionally. So I got a new job doing XYZ, whatever it is. Okay. I got a new job as social media manager at a company in my hometown. Okay. Whatever. Then in my new role, I meet with clients on a regular basis. For me, this is a new experience and I enjoy it very much. Okay. Again, it's a little cold. It's a little impersonal. So for me, this is a new experience and I really enjoy it. It's so great to be able to meet with clients face to face and really get to know them on a personal level. Okay. This too, I'm responsible for evaluating a marketing strategy. It's just very like it belongs in a cover letter or something, okay? Not in a letter to your friend. So, you could say, so far, the hardest part of my job is evaluating our new marketing strategy because I've never done anything like this before. But my manager is really supportive, and so I'm sure it will be okay. Do you understand what I mean? So, this is the kind of language you need to be using here. Then there was absolutely no transition between this whole thing about your job and then this thing about your dog. You needed to transition better. Okay. And that's a matter of coherence and cohesion. So this needed to be things like other parts of my life have been keeping me busy as well. For example, unfortunately, my dog Lola passed away. Okay. Or you could have said something like, as far as other aspects of my life are concerned, my dog Lola passed away. So, do you understand? You have to transition. You have to have some sort of a linker to show that, all right, enough of this talk about work. Now we're going to talk about my personal life. Okay? And then I miss her, and although she cannot be replaced, I'm thinking about getting a new puppy. That's fine. Again, linker something. Okay? Another piece of news is that I took up running. Okay. So you need to link these things, not just kind of throw them together. All right. So why you resigned. Okay. Describe your new work. Okay. And then other updates. Okay. And then, so that's fine. We covered all of that. I hope you're well and I will hear from you soon. How about something a little warmer? Okay. How about something like, so that's it for me. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. I hope you are well. Okay. So again, just a little more warmth, a little more extension. Okay. All right. Another thing that I want to talk to you about is some of the language. I felt like some of it was a little repetitive. Look at this. I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing that. Maybe you could have varied this up a little bit. All right. It's not a huge deal, but I did notice it because it was like one sentence after another. I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing this. Okay. How about this? I recently took up running, and one of my new colleagues is trying to persuade me to sign up for a half marathon. That would have been nice. Okay. So, just some ideas there on how to make this a little better. All right. Let's take a look at your task two about travel. More and more people are traveling within the UK and to destinations abroad. It is currently under debate what the consequences are, and I would like to share my opinion about this topic. All right, guess what? It didn't ask for your opinion. It says discuss the advantages and disadvantages. That's it. So nowhere has it asked you for your opinion. You merely need to state that there are advantages and disadvantages. Okay, this is very important. It shows the examiner that you've understood the topic. Okay, so let's talk about this. More and more people are traveling within the UK and to destinations abroad. It is currently under debate what the consequences are. Period. Um, while there are certainly many benefits to the increase in travel, there are numerous drawbacks that must be considered as well. That's it. Okay. That shows that you've understood the question and that this is what you're going to respond to. Okay. The vast majority of people are of the opinion that we have a global climate crisis. Traveling by airplane to far off destinations is contributing to pollution and, as a result, global warming. There are many popular sites to visit in Southeast Asia, but unfortunately, tourism is a threat to local culture and nature, especially in this part of the world. Many people argue that travelers from the western part of the world exploit these less developed countries. Okay, so again, we've got this issue of underdeveloped ideas and not unlinked ideas. So you talk about global climate crisis. Then you say travel is contributing to pollution. All right, why? Okay, tell me about it. Don't just go to Southeast Asia. Tell me why travel by airplane is doing this. Okay, and as a result, global warming. the increase in jet fuel emissions as a result of increased air travel is widely responsible for, I don't know, an increase in greenhouse gases. Okay? Then, I don't understand this sentence. You said that they exploit these less developed countries. How? Why? You didn't say anything about this. So it feels like you've had this interesting idea. You said it's a threat to local culture and nature and that they exploit them, but you never tell us how. So I have no idea what you mean. Okay. You have to explain how you mean that people are exploited and how tourism is a threat. Okay. So I really don't feel like you developed this. I mean, if it were up to me, I would have said something like um, some of the problems that over tourism produces. So, for example, places like Venice, places like Santorini, um, the inhabitants there complain that the place is unlivable because of the tourists. You know, it just makes places that are so beautiful and, you know, Instagrammable impossible to live for the people who live there. Okay, so maybe you could have talked about that. Maybe you could have talked about how when you have an increase in tourists, sometimes the reason that made the place so interesting to visit to begin with no longer exists. Okay, if it's a place of like natural beauty, for example, when it becomes overwrought with businesses catering to tourists, it no longer is a place of natural beauty. Okay, so this is some of the stuff you could have talked about here, but you need to develop it. You need to give me examples. You need to go further to explain what you mean because the examiner is not in your head and doesn't know exactly what you mean. Okay, however, traveling to see the world also has positive aspects. It can lead to a better understanding of people with a different origin and religion than oneself. All right, I would have put one word here. It can potentially lead to less conflict if people feel that they share a common ground. Okay, could you go into maybe a little more detail? What do you mean? Tourism is also an important source of income for a lot of people worldwide. One word. During the pandemic, comma, traveling wasn't occurring to a lowest extent. You could say during the pandemic, travel decreased substantially, which had a catastrophic impact on some nations' S apostrophe financial situation. Okay, that's all right, but maybe you could have said that some countries really depend on some people count tourism as one of their strongest industries and rely on it in order to, increase the um, quality of life of the people in that country. So maybe you could have spun it that way rather than what happens when we don't have tourism. Okay. Okay. To conclude, travel not opposes, but poses, wrong word here. To conclude, traveling poses a risk of exploiting less developed countries. Further, it has a part in the climate crisis through pollution. In spite of this, it may have a positive impact regarding our sense of community and getting along, it's one word, with one another. Most importantly, many people rely on tourism and traveling to make a livelihood. No, you make a living, okay, or for their livelihood. So traveling for their livelihood or to make a living. Okay, let's see. I want to see your word count really fast because it still felt kind of short to me. 250 precisely. Okay. Yeah, it's 250 words, so you're fine. But you could see that I mentioned throughout that I still thought it needed development. So the people at IELTS say that 250 is the minimum you need to get a 9, but I would argue that by and large, it's going to be impossible to get a 9 with just 250 words. So you want to aim for higher. Okay. Even if you want a 7, I would aim for higher than 250 words. Okay. I think somewhere closer to 300 is a better place to be. Closer. I'm not saying it has to be 300, but certainly closer. Okay, so go ahead and correct these. Let's see more work from you. If you have any questions about this feedback, definitely let me know in your next email, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. Good luck.